Humanist. Again, I'm going to run through some Humanist news before we get to the main events. In international news, the French National Assembly passed marriage equality legislation, which is great news for our LGBT brothers and sisters. It's the 14th country to do so. The usual chair, Annie, sends her apologies. She's a bit under the weather this morning. Long weekend. In Britain, legal recognition of humanist marriages was blocked in the House of Commons. I won't go into details about that now, but you can Google it yourselves. But it seems to be kind of like the theme of today's, the humanist news anyway, is marriages. In national news then, we have an Empowering Women Through Secularism conference, which is on at the end of the month on the 29th and 30th of June up in Dublin. It's been organised by the Atheist Ireland. If anybody's interested in coming along to that, you can talk to Sean. You can pop up to him and just give him your name, and we can sort out possibly a group that's going up. I know that the Atheist Society in UCC will be sending up a few delegates. In other national news, then, a date for the HAI EGM has been set for 7 p.m. on Wednesday, June 26th. So that's just the Wednesday before the conference. And I have here, Aaron will speak more on this now. Because Annie's supposed to be reading this stuff. So the story with the HAI AGM. Okay, so it has to do with marriage as well. The HAI were campaigning for humanist celibates to be recognised as solemnizers, just like their religious equivalents for the past 10 years. Ivana Bacik and Joan Burton did a really good job of drafting legislation, and they put it forward. Then it got into the Attorney General's hand, and there was a clause entered which states that any secular body that is recognised underneath this amendment cannot campaign on any political issue. Now, Michael Nugent, who's the head of Atheist Ireland at the time, said, wait a second, the Humanist Association of Ireland campaigns on secular issues, such as campaigning for secularism. What's the story? He was assured at the time by Brian Whiteside, who was the guy heading up the campaign for the amendment, that this would be dealt with. Now, it wasn't. It was put to the Dáil. The non-religious community, I think, looked like a bit of a joke, because we had Atheist Ireland speaking out against the Humanist Association of Ireland. And now the HAI the legislation was passed, so now the HAI, from what I can see, has done itself a disservice by saying that now they've sacrificed basically their ability to campaign on political issues, and because of the confusion that's been involved, their celebrants still can't solemnise marriages, because the Attorney General has said, we're going to see how this thing plays out regarding the EGM. So what happened with the EGM? Andrew Radigan, a fellow Humanist Association of Ireland member, wrote an article which was posted on Atheist Ireland, which said, look, this is a joke, I'm going to call an EGM. The board then responded by sending out a letter to all Humanist Association of Ireland members, having a ballot, asking them to endorse their own position. Now, this is a very biased document, and for more details on that, you can go to a website which a couple of us have set up, which details this whole situation. Now, I know I'm blabbering on, but bottom line is that I think that the Humanist Association have lost the run of themselves. I've, on behalf of the members here who asked me to look into the Cork Humanist becoming a branch of the Humanist Association of Ireland, they asked to do that at our somewhat like AGM last November. I travelled up to Dublin, put forward a couple of proposals, no good. They've been very difficult to deal with, and I don't think it's a question of them being difficult because they're inherently bad people. I just think there's really systemic efficiency and organisation problems going on there, and a lot of miscommunication and stuff. So essentially, a couple of us regional people are going to stand for election at the EGM, and hopefully we're going to swing things in our favour and get this reform thing going, and then we can become a branch of a truly national organisation. Now, the fact that the EGM has been set on a Wednesday at 7 p.m, I think speaks volumes. It's not been set at a weekend where regional members can travel up. Anybody, now that poses a problem, because there's 5 motions put forward. The 5th is for the election of new officers. A couple of us regional members will be standing, but obviously there won't probably be that many regional members present due to the date. This was a really nasty tactic on the part of the HAI board.
It also said no posted votes.
No posted votes, no proxy votes. Right? Exactly. So anybody who's interested in travelling up, you can talk to myself, or if anybody's interested in actually running for a directorship, it's no problem. You'll definitely do a better job than what they're doing. Okay, so that's national news out of the way. Okay, local news. Sorry about going on so much. For more information, I'll be sending out a newsletter anyway, and you can check out the website. I'm thinking about putting a petition together, asking the board to cover the transport costs of anybody who's travelling from regional, regional areas, because I think that would be reasonable, considering it is on Wednesday. Okay, so local news. Think and Drink. This is coming up Thursday, June 13th to 7:30 in the Porterhouse. The subject is sex. For more information on the talking points and discussion and directions to the Porterhouse, you can see our website. Film screening is Persepolis. That's on June 18th in Costigan's Pub at 7:30. It's a French animated film based on an autobiographical graphic novel of the same name, and is a coming of age story of a young girl set against the background of the Iranian Revolution. Looks really good. For more information or to check out the trailer, you can see the film screening page on our website. Okay, funny. It is with conflicting emotions that I announced the next part, which is that we're going to be losing one of our organisers, Sean Murphy. Sean was offered a job in Belgium as an electrical engineer, and he's going over there. I'm really happy for him, but we're losing him. So, Sean has been great over the past few months. He's been brains behind our film screenings, and he also helped out Annie and myself a lot over the past few months, because Annie and myself have been under a lot of pressure due to our academic commitments, and Sean took on more responsibility than he initially signed up to. So thanks very much, Sean. Actually, if you have a hand for Sean.
Yes, thank you, Sean.
Yeah, the film screenings will be very good. So next month, our monthly meeting is David Pollock. It's going to be great. He's a former president of the European Humanist Federation. And the subject is humanism and human rights. And in the talk, David will run through what humanism is and its relationship with human rights. We asked David specifically to address this subject, as a few were we asked David to specifically address this subject, as a couple of our members were kind of asking us to look at the subject of what the hell is humanism anyway, kind of thing, And so, in terms, I think it'd be a very good event to ask your nearest and dearest to come along to, because they might get an insight into what humanism is. Because I know personally, I find it hard to communicate exactly what humanism is to my parents, so they'll be here. And who better to explain it than the former president of the European Humanist Federation? Okay, so on to the main events.